Yo, parish orphans and retrogrades, happy Monday if such a thing exists. Today, I come to you, as always, to re-Catholicize the world, American culture, and Catholics themselves. This is a task that traditionalists, so-called traditionalists, have utterly failed at. And they've utterly failed at this because, as you've heard me say countless times, Catholic traditionalists don't know what they're fighting for, generally speaking. They're as deeply infiltrated by feminism as the rest of the culturally Catholic, secular kind of Catholic church, and the rest of the Christian denominations as well. In some measures, they're worse. And this was completely evident in the recent interview by Daily Wire's Andrew Klavan of Pearly Things, Pearl Davis. Now, I was surprised. This happened, I think, Thursday of last week. I was surprised to find such deep confusion on either side. Now, I've talked to Pearl a lot behind the scenes, 2 times on her show. I don't think she's ever been on my show, but a lot behind the scenes also. And I've kind of been a guest on her show once and then a debater against some aspect of the red pill the second time I went on with my friend Andrew Wilson. So I know there's some confusion there. The funny thing is, Andrew Klavan, who's a Protestant Christian, brought her onto his show at Daily Wire. It's a show with, I guess, a background Protestant point of view. And I sort of assumed that he would make some of the defenses against her crypto-feminist assault on marriage that we patriarchists make. Well, Noland, myself, Mike Pantile, Nick Stumphauser, the CMAS crew. And I found very little of that. And actually I found, because I mean, there's a lot over which I agree with Pearl. She defends some of the more crypto-feminist aspects of red pill, saying feminism's here to stay, therefore do go ahead and disregard marriage and family, which is the whole point of feminism. I thought that where I agreed with Pearl, I would maybe disagree with Klavan. And where I agreed with Klavan, I would maybe disagree with Pearl some. This wasn't altogether wrong. This is kind of what happened. But I found both of them not just talking past one another, but because neither of them understands or really advocates for true patriarchy, even though they both consider themselves Christian. Patriarchy is just Christianity. It's kind of hard to identify overall who I agree with more, with whom I agree more. In this 35-minute interview between Klavan and Pearl, I don't know. I don't know how to quantify. If it were a debate, who won? I was surprised the first 10 minutes that I agreed with almost everything Pearl said right out of the box. And Klavan did not begin the interview like a lot of people will when they're interviewing someone with overlapping perspective. He was disagreeing with stuff that Pearl was saying in the first 10 minutes. And I was like, no, I agree with that. Some of it was not what I expected, because I don't really watch anyone else's show religiously. If there's one show I'll look at on Daily Wire, it's my friend Michael Knowles. But even that, I'm not really a regular purveyor, consumer of content on anyone's show aside. My friend, I'll check what's going on quite frankly's channel, sometimes Knowles, sometimes Jay Dyer's, sometimes like Avoiding Babylon. But I don't really watch anyone's channel regularly because I'm busy. I got lots of projects. We'll get to their interview in a second. But speaking of those projects, this fall we have What a Woman Is coming out. It's going to rock – not just the internet, but the world, because that's going to be viewable on your home screen in your den on Amazon. That's just going to be a very, very big deal. Just wait. I won't say any more. Also, I'm working on a couple other things that I haven't revealed yet. Also, Steph and I are working on a new marriage book. And then, of course, the 3 times a week podcast that I do, this is one of them. There's specific insular Catholic stuff as well involving this crisis in the church that Pope Francis spearheads, but it's really the crisis of modernism inside the church, which began well before Vatican II in the early to mid 20th century. And this channel has 4 pillars. That's a corrective of both the culture in the church and the culture in the world. It's patriarchy, which has been looming large lately. It's going to loom large in today's episode. Subsidiarity, local government, re-education, and right-wing community organizing. And there are 4 books associated with this channel, 5 if you include Steph's Patriarchy book. And that's what we have. I've written 4 books. They're the 4 pillars of Rules for Retrogrades. If you want to support this channel, like, subscribe, click the notification button. We are now past 50,000 subscribers and we're chasing down 100. We wanted to do it the organic, slow, legit way so we're not a captive creator. If you want to support the channel, hit like, subscribe, click the notification bell, and go to Subscribe, Star, and Locals because we got kicked off of Patreon. I got kicked off of Patreon. For saying 100% of the truth, I got kicked off. So that's what I'm noticing more. My first big takeaway from watching Pearly Things on Andrew Klavan's Daily Wire show. I expect to agree with both of these people, maybe in different ways, with 2 out of every 3 things they said. I was noticing I'm disagreeing with 2 out of 3. I'm only agreeing with 1 out of 3 things that either of these conservative right-wingers are saying. And I don't mean they're not conservative. I just mean they're conservatives with worldviews that are diminishing the other truths that they're saying. I disagreed with them each, Andrew Klavan and Pearl, about twice as often as I expect. And that's funny because I talked to Pearl some. I was really surprised. There was not much clarity with this, even though both of these people claim to oppose feminism. What's going on? I think I figured it out. There are 2 big takeaways that keep both of these people from saying the real solution to feminism. 1, even though Pearl was raised Catholic, there is an absolute lacuna, willed or maybe not willed, an absolute oversight in terms of Western civilization was built by Roman Catholic norms in the church, but specifically the norms. Neither of them understands this. Every impulse that Pearl and Andrew Klavan intone, express, or even struggle to articulate. And you get what they're trying to say before they end up saying it. That happens sometimes in interviews. It probably happens to you some when you're watching me. Every single one is a Roman Catholic norm that they're either, at times, hitting the nail on the head, because Pearl was raised Catholic, Klavan's a Protestant. There's overlap between Catholics and Protestants, obviously. They ripped off Catholic theology, except where they didn't want to. Then there are times when they're disagreeing with it, even though it's just an error in their mathematics. And they know they're disagreeing with it. And then there's a third case where with both Pearl and with Andrew Klavan, they don't get why their own math isn't working out. Their numbers aren't checking out at the bottom of the algebra problem. And they don't get that it's because of one of the other places where they, a Christian, disagreed with the Roman Catholic norms, which on sex and intersexuality are just natural law norms. They actually predate Jesus. So they're far more together than they disagreed. They disagreed plenty in this 35-minute interview. It's worth a watch. They're both good faith actors, good people. I didn't mean conservatives like as if either of them is a rhino or something like that. I just meant both of them have enough errors in their worldview, specifically on intersexuality, that come from an error in their worldview writ large. Not understanding how large Roman Catholicism loomed. So that's the first thing that they both really shared in common. First theme. The second big theme is because of their misunderstandings about natural law and Catholic norms, which inform all the other right things they're saying, neither of them wanted to be politically incorrect about sex. Neither of them wanted to say that contraception, premarital sex, cohabitation before marriage, and divorce themselves are really, really bad. Both of them are, because they don't have a truly Catholic worldview, both of them are dancing around these issues and then issues which are downstream of these issues. And so the most they can do is be a kind of superficial anti-feminist. And I've told Pearl this. You want to be all the way anti-feminist, you have to be a patriarchalist, which means you have to believe in marriage. If Andrew Klavan wants to be all the way anti-feminist, he has to become a patriarchalist. He'd probably have to become like a trad Catholic to do that, or just a true Catholic to do that.